1 year ago, Mayor Alan Autry left the stage after 8 years as Fresno's mayor, and political newcomer Ashley Swearengin took the oath at City Hall as Fresno's 24th mayor. After 1 year in office, what has Mayor Swearengin done to build on Mayor Autry's successes? And how has she begun to address the city's continuing challenges of crime and public safety, poverty and economic development, downtown revitalization, and improving our infrastructure and quality of life? In the near term, how does Mayor Swearengin plan to meet these challenges and not lose ground in a time of budget shortfalls and economic uncertainty? And if and when the economy recovers, what are the mayor's priorities to improve life in California's sixth largest city during the remainder of her term?
From Fresno, the Maddy Report, with Executive Director of the Maddy Institute, Mark Kepler.
Welcome. After 8 years as Fresno's mayor, Alan Autry could not seek re-election. So, Fresno elected a new mayor, Ashley Swearengin. After being in office for just over 1 year, we're going to ask Mayor Swearengin about where the city is now and where we're headed in the next few years. Joining me are Jim Bourne, the editorial page editor for the Fresno Bee, and Bill McEwen, the Fresno Bee's popular columnist. Welcome to all of you. Welcome, Mayor Swearengin.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'll start off with the questioning on crime and public safety. Those are two very big issues. And they also represent a lion's share of the city's budget, about 70% of the city's budget. How do you maintain a level of services, or that level of services, in light of the fiscal reality of an ever-shrinking budget?
Well, it starts with a commitment to funding public safety first and foremost. And the situation we're in right now, we are having to make significant cuts, and we'll continue to do so for the next budget year at least. But in the middle of all of that, our commitment is to ensuring that our sworn officers, police and fire, are on the street, and that reductions are not made there. So it has meant compromises in other areas. We saw, for example, in the mid-year budget cuts that were implemented in January, that we've had to cut on the non-sworn side of things, and it will mean a delay in service in some respects, but not in terms of emergency response and hardcore crime fighting on the street.
Well, let me ask you about a number. Fresno spends more than its peer cities on police and fire. Actually, fire, they've just increased the budget, but police, it spends more than peer cities. Here's the question: are we spending too much on police? If we're spending more than our peer cities, should we cut back a little bit on that and spend it on infrastructure and other things?
Well, I think the more important statistic to consider is our overall level of revenue in the first place. I mean, just to give you a comparison, the city of Long Beach is slightly smaller than the city of Fresno. Their general fund is more than 2 times the size of ours, even in this declining season of revenues. So the fact of the matter is, I don't think that the issue is that we spend too much on public safety, but we do suffer from high levels of unemployment, high concentrations of poverty. The overall economy in Fresno, as we've known for a long time, has been more depressed than our peer cities. That's really the long-term solution for Fresno, is education, training, job creation, revitalization of our urban core, where so many of our public service dollars are spent, in order to see that revenue side increase as well.
Okay, Jim?
Well, Mayor, I want to take a little bit different take on it. It seems like it's sort of a good time to be a crook. I mean, the state's letting people out of prison, the county's letting them out of the jails, police agencies all over the state are shrinking. You know, how can you assure people that they're going to be safe in their homes?
Well, first I want to tell you, Jim, that crime never pays. So it's never a good time to be a crook. But from the city standpoint, what you need to know, and everybody that's watching the show needs to know, is that our commitment to frontline public safety services has not changed and will not change, despite the fact that we're dealing with significant cuts. We will cut elsewhere. We have cut elsewhere, but we will not cut the number of officers that are on the street and the number of firefighters beyond a certain minimum service level. So you can have that assurance. Now, it may mean that if you need an insurance report, for example, that if you need to, be at the counter at one of our police substations, you may see a delay in your wait time, but you're not going to see a change in response to emergency services and policing. That's the core service that our city provides.
But the problem with the inefficiency of how we do it, by as Bill puts it in one of his columns, it's a catch and release policy. So the cops are putting the same people back in jail over and over again. I mean, how is that a good policy?
Well, I know that we're hearing a lot of frustration, frankly, from our officers as they watch that happen every day. So clearly this is a big issue beyond the city of Fresno, with the Sheriff's Office, the County Board of Supervisors, and their control over a major part of the criminal justice system, which is the jail. And of course the District Attorney attorney is a big part of the solution as well. So we've got this criminal justice system. The city is only directly responsible for policing, and you know, we're open to solutions and suggestions. We have had some successes with the sheriff's office, for example, in integrating our services with prisoner processing, reducing wait time for our officers, and increasing revenue for the sheriff's office. But still, there are big problems that loom out there that, frankly, the sheriff and the board of supervisors has to lead on.
Bill?
Well, I'd like to follow up on that. You're going to have a new city manager coming in. What directive are you going to give that city manager in regard to moving forward on consolidation?
Well, first of all, the city manager will know what our clear budget priorities are and what we're directly responsible for: law enforcement, structure fires, protecting the public. Those priorities will not change regardless of the new manager coming in. In terms of consolidation, to a great extent, the city is stuck. We've been at the table. We're willing to talk about integrating law enforcement services, for example, in the county islands. Is there a way to save money for the sheriff's office that could be used in other parts of her budget? We're open to all of that. We've done as much analysis on that issue as we can. The problem is that the folks that live in the county islands clearly reject the idea that city law enforcement should be responsible for policing in their county islands. They've expressed that concern, and of course we've got special interest groups like the Deputy Sheriff's Association that is also very opposed to any type of discussion or even analysis. So I feel
even
as if
while they're losing their jobs.
Correct. So maybe things have changed a little in recent months, but the bottom line really is that the residents in those county islands have to be a part of the discussion. They have to have their questions, their concerns answered and addressed. We attempted to surface those concerns and initiated discussions with the sheriff's office and with county island residents, and it just got to a log jam very quickly. So we're ready and willing and able to continue those discussions, but we have to have a partner on the other side, the residents, the supervisors, the sheriff's office, to continue those discussions.
Well, when I said consolidation...
We're actually running up against a deadline. We'll catch that in the next segment. When we come back, we'll talk about downtown revitalization, among other things, and the city's efforts to improve its economic base, including its effort to secure high-speed rail maintenance yard in Fresno. That conversation in a moment. This is the Maddy Report.